This is a PT interview. Today we have a big guest in the house, from our House of Representatives members. That's Honorable, or we can say Mr. Adejoro Adeogun, who represented Akoko South, East, and West Federal Constituency, that's in Ondo State. I was a former chairman of the HADO Committee on the looted funds, recovery of looted funds, and he was also deputy chairman Committee on National Security and Intelligence, in the Ninth House of Representatives. I'm not going to be the only one in the studio. I have my big boss, the managing editor of Premium Times, that's Mr. Idris Akibajo. So we'll be going around issues from security to national politics to Ondo State politics. So it's going to be a bumper ride, a very, very strong one. So join.
What do you miss most as a former member of the House of Reps?
Absolutely nothing. I don't miss anything. I'm actually having a ball, being a private citizen, being a father to my children, being able to recover from what I almost missed. I almost missed the best time of the growth of my children. I mean, when you have kids going through teenage years, which is where they need their father most, I think I was absent. And it kind of affected my relationship with my kids. So I'm having to go backward now, trying to recover what I almost lost and be a fantastic father to my kids. So I'm not missing anything.
Does it sound like as if you regret, going into public office?
No. I will not say that I regret it, no, until now, because I had the opportunity to serve my people, to do a lot of things I would ordinarily not be able to do, in terms of getting jobs for a lot of young people. There are a lot of people who would ordinarily not be employed today that have, through my intervention, been able to get a job. There's some infrastructure development in my area that, were because of my effort. And there were interventions I made as a legislator within the national space and National Assembly that I think today are landmark achievement. And secondly, as a private citizen today, I earn more income than I was earning as a member of the House of Reps. And then my responsibilities are like 10% of what it was. As a lawmaker, I was borrowing money every month to meet up with obligations, with responsibility. Maybe because I have a good heart, maybe because of my level of humaneness. I couldn't afford to say no to people who come to me when they have problems. And then the fact I had about 80-something aids that I pay monthly. So at the beginning of every month, half of what I earned is gone from the day it's earned. 50% is gone. Then you have that have already been mortgaged to obligations to people here and there. So I was also always borrowing funds from my business. So now, whatever accrues from my business, now it's for my well-being, for my family and my kids. They're happy for it.
Okay, because we do get these feelings from lawmakers who will be like, it's a lot of burden being there. But you people spend, at times hundreds of millions on party primaries, main elections, litigations, sometimes pre and post election litigations, running into billions, getting senior advocates to defend cases. So is it that some people get more from maybe being there, or perhaps maybe they'll say because you were a newbies then, maybe you didn't have access to more?
You see, I'm going to tell you this. For 4 years, I probably got like 450 million total in 4 years. So now, when you look at the fact that, I had about 86 hits, and I have to pay them monthly, I have to pay traditional rulers. You have other stakeholders that you have to pay. So at the end of every month, from the day I get paid, at least 5 to 6 million is gone. And then when I look at other obligations, I was spending an average of 16 to 20 million monthly, whereas the total income, salary, everything was less than 9 million. So you find that you're spending twice what you're earning. That is a reality. And I'm not just speaking for me. I can tell you that most legislators, that's how they spend. Even the ones that are stingy, maybe because they didn't have the kind of cushioning that I have. Some will borrow money. Some, right from the week they're elected into the National Assembly, they take loans. I mean, if you're elected, because first thing your bankers are going to come to you and apply 200, 300 million loan. So you find that for your entire tenure, you're servicing that and there's nothing left. There must be risk and returns. There must be papa. Nobody is going to get elected, spend 300 million naira to earn 10 million naira. And I can assure you, nobody will agree to be a legislator if all they have to do is earn nothing and throw money away. It will be like throwing money down the drain. People won't do it, and you won't get the best. We are looking to get the best out of us to go into public office. We need to encourage them. I recall there was something that happened, I think it was Obasanjo's government. How did he get a Okonjo-Iweala? How did he get Erufat? He got a lot of people that they were paid in dollars. Why? Because they felt like these are the best of us. We need to entice them. We need to do the same thing if we're trying to get the best into national offices. Entice them with the right wages. Take away corruption. But we must entice them with the right wages, the right resources to make what you're asking them to do to be commensurate with the service they render. If you ask someone to come and earn 10 naira, if he knows that he's invested more than 10 naira, he will be looking for other means to make up. And that's where corruption comes. So, and a lot of people like that.
Do you think you are the norm or an exception?
I'm not in a place to judge.
Okay.
Because, you see, 360 members, I know the ones I relate with, and I know that a lot of them are poor. I can tell you, I know hundreds of members who were elected, some are even returning. I know people who couldn't return to the 10th Assembly, who today can't even afford to fuel their cars. There are a lot of people now. You see, you have to understand, because, you were mentioning committees. How many committees you have? How many chairmen you have? Even the national, how many grade A committees are available where you could even at least get help here and there? It's not as rosy as it's painted. The 100, 200, 250 members who can barely make ends meet because of the obligations. The ones that are not as independent-minded as myself will probably earn their pay and they submit it to the chairman of the party at the end of the month. The ones who have godfathers, they submit all the resources to the godfather. The ones who got sponsored, the ones who took loans to get elected, they have to defray it. You see, the bottom line is the system is not right. Then we need to actually do something to salvage the system. We need a reform in terms of funding of the election, in terms of actually asking what is the cost of electing legislators. We need to reduce it. We need to actually strengthen legislators, because one thing I find about Nigerians, we see the legislators as our enemies. There's so much focus on them earning so much money. How much does the executive earn? You see, I like to use the Yoruba adage. There's a difference between a man who shares meat with his teeth and a man who shares with a knife. The legislator shares with his knife, the executive shares with his teeth. You don't know what goes gets swallowed.
But in as much as we like the analogy, which is powerful, but the legislators, have the responsibility of check and balance. So, and that is why there's a whole lot of scrutiny on them. I say, you are not just anybody. You have the power to, to investigate, to probe, and it brings me to your committee.
Before we go there, I need to let you understand something. If I'm supposed to check another person, and I invite the person to see me, and you, the citizens who are supposed to support me to do my job, fight me for doing my job, don't you think that would discourage me? And that's what happens most of the time.